Greetings everyone, and Happy New Year. Today is the 2nd of January 2024. Wow, 2024. Anyway, I thought I'd give everyone an update, those of you who are interested, not everyone, and on what my plans are for the year ahead, because I've committed to something, and I thought I'd update you all on my madness. So yeah, let me do that. So yesterday, well, let me step back a while. When I finished the Postie bike ride, I got a lot of people were interested in me doing some talks to different groups, retirement groups, mainly motorcycle groups, and about my ride and the experiences I had on the ride. And I've really enjoyed giving those talks because they give me the opportunity to relive the whole experience, and so it's something that I really enjoy doing. And so I get these contacts every so often. And back in September 2022, I was contacted by a fellow by the name of Les Bryce. And Les runs, or is the convener of a group called the Successful Retirement Discussion Group. And it's a group of guys or people that meet on Zoom once a month. And the whole purpose of it is to encourage people to engage with life and do things whilst they are in retirement. Les himself is an ex-marathoner. He ran marathons up until the age of 70, so he's obviously a gentleman who's getting on in his years, and sadly he has developed a neuromuscular condition that has kind of capsized things for him as far as those type of activities are concerned. But prior to developing this, he had an idea that he wanted to do, which was to push a wheelie bin, from Turramurra, where he lives in the northern suburbs of Sydney, to Temora, down near Wagga Wagga, 450 kilometers away. And sadly, he can't do this. And he expressed that kind of thing in some email exchanges, and then we had a telephone conversation where we spoke about it a little bit more. And he can't do it. But it planted a seed in my own mind, because I thought, I don't know, let's think about this. And this seed has been germinating away, since that conversation back in 2022, 16 months ago now. And I was sitting out on the balcony with Colleen yesterday morning, New Year's Day, this beautiful day out over the beach, looking out over the beach, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do the wheelie bin walk this year. I'm going to do this for a couple of reasons. The one is I enjoy personal challenges. The more challenging, the better in some ways, but they've got to be realistic. I've got to be able to do these things. It's pointless, taking on a challenge that's impossible. So it's got to be within the realms of possibilities, but challenging nevertheless. But I also wanted to do it in honor of Les and his desire to do this walk. So it's there's a little component of that to it as well. So I've committed to doing a wheelie bin walk, but it's not going to be from Sydney to Temora. I don't know what Les's decision making was around walking from Turramurra. Obviously lives in Turramurra, but to Temora doesn't hold anything for me personally. There might be some connection that Les has with it, which is why he chose it. I also wanted to do something of a couple of orders of magnitude bigger than that to suit my needs. And I'm not trivializing what what Les was trying to do at all, and I might rue the day that I tried to one up him on this. But I've resolved that for me, the challenge is going to be to do a wheelie bin walk from Bondi to Broken Hill on the west side of New South Wales. So that's what I'm doing. I've resolved that I'm going to do that this year. Now, few things around that, of course, as when I was getting ready to do my Postie bike ride, I thought, I want to ride a Postie bike. Long story behind the Postie bike ride that I won't go into now, as to how it developed into this particular ride. But the first thing I had to do was buy a Postie bike, and that kind of locked it in for me. But then COVID happened. This was early days of COVID, in fact. COVID happened after I bought the bike. And there were all the lockdowns and the border closures, and I had a lot to do in setting the Postie bike up. So I used all that time productively to do some modifications, some changes to the bike, test a couple of things out. And eventually it got to a point where this was drifting out, and eventually borders started to open again, reopen, and we had some more freedom of movement around COVID. So I thought, I've got to lock this in, otherwise it's just going to be a forever moving target. I'll never do it, and then I'm just mouthing off. So I said, all right, I picked a date. It was kind of random, out of the sky. I said 25th of April, that's when I'm going to leave. Happens also to be coincidentally, because that wasn't the reason I did it, Anzac Day. And so 25th of April 2022 is when I set off on the Postie bike ride. So for this wheelie bin walk, I've decided that that's probably a good date for me to lock in to leave Sydney on the wheelie bin walk. One, it's kind of auspicious in its own little way for me. But aside from that, I need to think about weather and just the conditions that I'm going to be walking in. You can't do a walk like that through the outback of New South Wales in the summer months. You'd die, or I would die, let's put it that way. So it then becomes a matter of, well, when do you do it? And the winter months can be because I'm going to be camping for, I guess, a good number of nights on this walk. The winter months you need to avoid as well. So leaving on Anzac Day kind of takes me through May. Now I've calculated, so the distance will be 1,045. If you do a Google where to, and you say where to from Bondi to Broken Hill, and you say I want to walk it, it maps this route out and it takes you 1,045 kilometers. That's the distance. So I'm figuring that I could do, and I don't know whether I can do more or less, don't know yet, around 30 kilometers a day will be what I'll be able to cover just walking this distance. That's probably doable. If I do that, this walk will take 35 walking days to do. And you've then got to factor in some rest days and some days when things don't go quite the way you want them to, maybe really snotty weather, you don't know. Maybe I get some illness, maybe I get the trots, I don't know what might happen, so you've got to plan for that as well. And so I'm figuring that it'll take me from around, if I leave on the 25th of April, be back or I'll be in Broken Hill around the 5th or the 10th, between the 5th and 10th of June. So those are good months to be doing this, as far as I reckon, weather-wise, condition-wise, and all that kind of stuff. also gives me enough time to plan for this. Because in between all of this, Lyndon and I are going to be doing a ride in Vietnam from Ho Chi Minh City to Hanoi in March. And I think we get back from that sort of around toward the end of March. So then that gives me a few weeks, 4 weeks or so before this walk starts. And then a couple of moving pieces to organize in between. The one is, I think I've got to get my fitness and strength levels up. I'm reasonably fit. I do the soft sand run on Bondi Beach every morning, and so I've got a base level of fitness that I can build on. So I'm not starting from ground zero fitness wise, and but I do need to build some strength if I'm going to be pushing a wheelie bin this kind of distance. Then I need to think about how you organize around a wheelie bin, which is a simple notion, but one is, first thing I'll do is change the wheels out, because those wheelie bin wheels will not last carrying any sort of load over that distance, over that kind of terrain that will be hauled over. And also the noise of that would just drive me absolutely spare. So that's not going to happen. So I have to change the wheels out, put some pneumatic, slightly larger diameter wheels, pneumatic wheels that will roll easier, quieter than what the wheels are on there. Then I need to think around, well, what sort of rig some sort of harness. You want to be able to pull it and push it, because just doing one of those things going uphill, maybe you want to be pulling it, whatever it is, maybe just get tired in one mode of operating and you want to change it up. So between a pull and a push, I need to rig some sort of arrangement up that's achievable. Waterproofing the thing so that in really lousy weather conditions it just doesn't fill up with water. Also making it a bit more secure, putting a lock on it, all that kind of minor stuff. So those aspects of it I need to resolve. My fitness, as I said, and then what am I going to carry? Obviously I've got to put camping kit in there, water, provisions of some sort to eat along the way to keep me energized and replenish my energy reserves, that kind of stuff I need to think through. So all of those things still need to be planned out and thought through, and plus I need to perhaps do 1 or 2 test walks around the place. I need to think about my footwear, what sort of footwear I'm going to be using, and maybe I have to test some of that out and in between now and then. So that's kind of where I'm at in this thinking. It's all still very loose, and it could all still change quite radically and I know that from my Postie bike, because I put a steel sort of extra tank on the bike, and that didn't really cut it for me. It wasn't robust enough, the mounting, and then eventually I got the plastic tank. And so you go through a few iterations of trying different things out before you land on something that still may not be perfect, but you got to settle on something. So that's what's going to be happening in the months ahead. So I'll keep you all posted. It's I don't quite know how I feel about it yet, but I'm going to be doing it. I'm committing to it. It's giving me something to focus on, which I think is healthy. I need that in my life. I'm one of those nutcases, and I'm saying it out loud because the old cliche, you've got to be able to walk the talk, and I'm not just going to mouth off on this. I'm going to do it, bar some really out of left field issue that arises that either defers it or cans it for me. But I'm not planning on that. I'm going to be doing it. So with that, I'm going to once again bid you all a wonderful 2024. Be safe, be healthy, be happy in it, and I'll update you as and when I make progress. When that's likely to be, heaven only knows, but I'll try and keep you posted on a regular basis to what my plans are. All the best, everyone. Good luck And till later. Bye.